Equities had a second day of follow-through after the Fed. Where next? Hey, very good evening to you traders. This is Mark. Welcome to your daily trading video. And we had a second day of follow-through. DAX, Dow, NASDAQ, the lot. We just had that follow-through. And actually, you know, when you look at it, you think it's got to be the bears who have been positioned, thinking we're going to get a bit of a sell-off. It not happening, and then it just rip into highs. I mean, very, very large move. And if you pick on some moving averages and just have a look at the whole thing in some structure, you know, we've moved from low to high in kind of 24 hours, really. I mean, if you look at it, it's about 4 o'clock. We had the low point there yesterday at UK time, 18117 Dow cash. About 4 o'clock today was the high, 330, and the high was 18448. So, you know, that's a 300 and whatever 28 point move. That's a big move for the Dow, and the same for the DAX. You know, the DAX is exactly the same. Monster move, low to high. We're talking 300 points, which is a huge move for the DAX. Okay, so what does that mean for the next trading day? Well, do you know, I think a lot of people kind of assumed that we would pull back a bit today. You know, after you get like a 1% move post-Fed, you tend to get a little bit of a pullback, and a few traders I spoke to thought, okay, we might get some pullback to some support and then digest a bit. We just didn't get it. Now, I kind of think that maybe the theory behind that is that we haven't raised, Yellen hasn't raised rates in September. She probably won't raise them, or the Fed, should I say, not just Yellen, won't raise rates again in November because it's right before the US elections. So that leaves December. So is the theory now that we're going to get a run right the way up to there, and then from that point they may raise rates, and we're going to get a bit of a downfall in the market? I don't know. That's just a theory. If that's the theory, then a lot of bears are thinking, I've got to have a good reason to hold short. And don't forget, end of year for the funds as well. The fund managers, they're looking to gain that stamp in the book that says, right, we're closing on highs, everything's good. So maybe if they can get a couple of months worth of rally out of it, that's what they're looking for. But anyway, let's figure out the medium term. Look at the short term. I've put up a 2-period rate of change, and this is something that sometimes, you know, you can look up to see how the market has moved aggressively. You know, it's one thing to eyeball it and say, yes, it's moved, but it's one thing then to look at it and say, okay, well, that's showing me that we've moved quite a lot over a 2-day period. What happens next? And you know what generally tends to happen after these big moves is you get a day of consolidation the next day after. So I'm expecting on the Dow a decent day of consolidation tomorrow. We might have a narrow range. I'm sure we'll have some sort of test to the downside. So I'm guessing the best trade for me is going to be waiting for some sort of support, or even no support, just a low to be tested, come back up, retest, fail, and then look for a counter trend move back to the volume weighted average price. I think that's going to be the trade of the day for me tomorrow. I don't think I've got the nuts to start shorting highs in this kind of environment at the moment. I've got to respect the strength of the market the past few days, even though it does look very overbought now. I think I would rather wait for exactly what I say, the pull down, push to a low, whatever that may be. It may be some support, it might just be a fresh low somewhere, pull back up, have a little retest, not go anywhere, and then buy a counter trend move back to that volume weighted average price. So that's how I'm going to play tomorrow. Last thing to look at, guys, US dollar yen. I really like the look of this at the moment. Let me just get rid of this rate of change now. Now I've illustrated that, I'm not really interested. You know, we are in this absolute congestion that's about to do something crazy. You know, the downtrend line here, we touched that 100 today. Well, not quite, but pretty much. And we bounced off it again. It was defended very, very well. A lot of good support there, you know. And we're gonna do something or other. I kind of look at the 15-minute and I go, look at this. This is what I just can't help but look at, and makes me think I'm going to take a short. Rightly or wrongly, I think the risk reward is quite fair on this. But you know, it's a difficult one because that 100 is so defended. Is it going to blast through? I keep thinking it will do at some point. Hasn't yet. maybe it will do soon. Anyway, look at this. The move down from high to low. So we had the Bank of Japan came out, the rally up on the US dollar yen, failure, come all the way back down. That's a big, almost 300-point move. Just have a little kiss of that 100, not quite. I think we went to 109. Let's have a little look. Low was 100.09. Push back up, and look how many times now we have tagged this resistance level up here. Okay, so we're about retrace of about 25%, which is not bullish. It's to be expected. A little bit of a congestion day after that big range yesterday. Congestion tagging up against that resistance level. Can't quite kiss that 101 either. So what happens from here? Well, there's a couple of scenarios for me. Let's just get rid of that out of the way. A couple of scenarios the way I'm looking at. One is we poke up above, fail, and then I'm going to take a short for a pushback down. So let's take up there. I'm not going to take it there. I'm going to wait until we fail and come back lower. A second is to take a short here. Use a stop. You're going to have to use a broader stop for that, something like up here, because if you're looking for that failure point that then rolls, you don't want to be coming out into that failure point and not sure how high that will go. That's the safer trade to take. This is maybe the trade that if you're not sure about waiting too long for it, and then looking for a retest of that 100. But I still think maybe we get a little spit through. A lot of traders got stops under there. I know it's well defended, but it may just spit through for a day or so, and it might give you like a 200-point move through that. But that's what I'm looking at. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Will be interesting. Definitely the 101 level to watch, and the 100 level is sort of range that I'm playing. So a test of that, a fail, looking for a pushback to lows. I won't be buying at 100 just in case we use the time and it breaks through. It'll only be a cover. So I had a great trading day today, guys. Friday tomorrow. Have a great day as well, and I shall be back with another video tomorrow evening. Take care.